Every spring, gardeners across America spend billions on seeds, transplants, and supplies. We till the soil, plant the seeds, stake and cage, only to watch the garden die by October. Next year, we start from scratch, buying everything all over again. But what if medieval farmers grew vegetables that didn't just last a season? Vegetables that could outlive their grandchildren. Plants so massive they could double as walking sticks, producing harvests for 20 years without replanting. From monastery gardens in Switzerland to peasant plots in England, these perennial giants fed families for generations. They weren't annual crops. They were living investments, plants that gave returns year after year. And then, almost overnight, they vanished. Today, you won't find a single one of these vegetables at Home Depot. Let's explore 10 medieval perennials that fed Europe for centuries, and why we traded them for crops that die every winter. Vegetable 1, Walking Stick Kale. Imagine planting a cabbage seed and, in 3 years, having a plant taller than you with a thick, woody trunk. The leaves could feed livestock for years, and when it finally died, the trunk could be dried, varnished, and used as a walking stick. This was walking stick kale, also known as Jersey kale, cultivated on the Channel Islands for over 500 years. Historical records show just 5 plants could feed 100 sheep or 10 cows. Every part was used, and nothing was wasted. Today, we've replaced this 3-year, multi-use crop with kale that dies after 6 months. Vegetable 2, Tree Collards. While walking stick kale fed livestock, tree collards were grown for people, and they were grown to last. A single cutting could grow 6 to 12 feet tall and produce leaves continuously for 5 to 20 years. Monastery records describe passing the same plant down through generations of monks. Purple tree collards, still maintained by heritage seed savers, survive temperatures down to -17 degrees Fahrenheit. One plant could feed a family for decades, and yet modern stores charge $3 per bunch for something that would naturally produce hundreds of pounds for free. Vegetable 3, Tree Kale. Also called Dalbanton or perpetual kale, this variety was bred never to flower, because a flowering kale dies. Monastery records in Germany show these plants producing leaves for 5 to 8 years without interruption, with thick, woody stems forming tree-like structures. Specimens documented in the 1800s are still grown today from cuttings. Modern annual kale replaced these perennial giants, trading decades of production for one fleeting season. Vegetable 4, Globe Artichoke. Medieval Italians treated globe artichokes like perennial trees. A single crown could grow 4 to 6 feet tall, producing buds for 5 to 10 years or longer. Artichoke orchards were so valuable in Andalusia that stealing a plant carried the same penalty as stealing livestock. Today, commercial farms replant every 3 to 5 years because it's more profitable than letting plants thrive. We replaced longevity with planned obsolescence. Vegetable 5, Cardoon. The wild ancestor of the artichoke, cardoons grow 5 to 6 feet tall with edible stems and flower buds. Monastery records show plants producing for 10 to 15 years in the same spot. Every part was useful, even flowers for cheese-making enzymes. We've almost forgotten this thistle that provided food, medicine, and ornamentation for decades. Vegetable 6, Lovage. A medieval flavor powerhouse, lovage grows 6 feet tall, with celery-like leaves, asparagus-like stems, and seeds like fennel. Roots were eaten or used medicinally. Once planted, it returned every spring for 10 to 20 years. Charlemagne mandated it on royal estates. Today, it's considered rare, replaced by annual parsley and celery. Vegetable 7, Angelica. Angelica grew 8 feet tall, with hollow stems that could be candied, leaves that flavored beer, and roots used as medicine. While technically a short-lived perennial, it self-seeded reliably, effectively becoming permanent. Families relied on it for food, medicine, and brewing during the Black Death. Modern herb gardens ignore it because it's too big, too medieval. Vegetable 8, Asparagus. the oldest perennial still commonly grown. Once planted, asparagus produces spears for 20 to 30 years, sometimes longer. Medieval beds were passed down through generations. Modern breeding shortened lifespans for convenience, but wild asparagus can live over 50 years. Vegetable 9, Good King Henry. Before spinach, there was Good King Henry, a perennial green producing shoots from April through October for decades. Young shoots were eaten like asparagus, mature leaves cooked like spinach. Nearly extinct today, replaced by annual spinach that requires constant replanting. Vegetable 10, Skirret. Skirret produces sweet white roots that taste like parsnips with a hint of vanilla. Plant once, harvest some each year, and it continues for 15 to 20 years. Kings had gardens dedicated to it, and medieval records list it as a delicacy. Today, skirret is almost entirely forgotten. When European colonists arrived in America, they brought seeds but not the intensive systems that made medieval gardens work. By the 1800s, annuals became the norm: plant, harvest, move on. The seed industry realized perennial vegetables were bad for business. Why sell seeds to someone who only plants once when you can sell seeds every year? These vegetables still exist. Heritage seed savers and specialty nurseries maintain them. Walking stick kale, tree collards, Good King Henry, skirret, they're all out there. Plant one, and you reclaim centuries of forgotten knowledge. Reduce dependency on annuals. Feed your family for decades. Connect to a system that worked for 1,000 years. Medieval gardens weren't perfect, but they lasted. They sustained families without depleting soil, without constant replanting, without dying each fall. We abandoned them not because they failed, but because they worked too well. Maybe, somewhere, a forgotten garden is waiting for someone to remember. So, as you plan your next garden, consider these ancient giants. Imagine a world where your grandchildren harvest from the same plants you put in the ground. A world where gardening is less about constant labor, and more about enduring abundance. It's a return to roots, a forgotten future, waiting for us to dig in. Let's cultivate a legacy, not just a crop.